Welcome to Bollox Talks and Tangents. We're here, 6:34, our start time.
6:34. It's a perfect start time.
Yeah, everybody should remember it.
6:34.
It's one of the easiest numbers to remember, 6:34.
You know, when you first told me we were going on the air at 6:34, what did I say to you? I said, why 6:34?
I said, you'll always remember it.
And every time I tell people, they say, why 6:34? Because they always remember it.
Yep, and they never have to ask again.
Never.
Saves us so much time.
I know.
So much time. All right, well, welcome back.
It's good to see you.
We got a fun show.
Oh,
We got a fun show. I mean, we got to learn some stuff. I mean, that's part of doing what we do. We actually enjoy.
We learn.
We actually enjoy learning.
Yeah.
And hopefully you do too. And hopefully you laugh. I mean, because Derek's a funny guy. I'm a funny looking guy. You're a funny guy. So it kind of works out.
More or less.
More or less.
More or less.
All right. But first thing we do have to do, we got to say thank you to our amazing sponsors.
Huge thank you to these guys. Without them, we wouldn't be here. They make it all possible.
Yeah, and they've just have been with us the whole time. Really appreciate them so much. City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery. They just what a great local business. Support these guys. Christmas is coming up. I can't think of a better gift.
Go buy somebody some booze from local distillers, and they make incredible liquor.
Yeah, take them with you. Do the tour. Do the tasting tour.
Yes.
Find out which one they like. You're good to go. Or just get them a gift card.
Yeah.
So it's so easier.
Yeah.
So all right, we had this tonight.
We did. We had our dinner from 904 Pizza.
900 degree
900 degree pizza.
You're reading this and looking
at
that.
Like 904. I'm in the nines. 900 degree pizza and pasta. Yeah, it's over on Lewis Speedway. It's right beside a high school. We just had a pie this evening.
Yeah, Blake ran and grabbed a pie while I was on Mike's show. Heather over there, you crushed it again. I appreciate it. Hopefully you're watching. You understand that we appreciate what you're doing over there. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates. Best accountants in town. They keep me out of trouble.
Keep you out of trouble.
That's not an easy task. Because you don't even try.
No, I don't even try. I gave up years ago.
Blake tries, but you don't even try.
No.
No, you don't. It probably isn't worth the effort.
They are the best accountants in town.
Yep.
They're incredibly nice people. Mm-hmm. If you've got a small business, if you just don't want to do your taxes, you will save money in the long run if you use Abare, Kresge and Associates. They're wonderful accountants.
Decades of experience. Yeah. Decades and decades. I'm not just saying that because they're old. All right, the Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. I had lunch at Gypsy Cab yesterday. Still just crushing it. The food is always spot on. I can tell you, the salad dressing, there's nothing like Gypsy Cab salad dressing.
It's extraordinary. I got takeout from their set twice last weekend. We're like looking at each other. Do you want to cook? I don't want to cook. And twice we did dinner one night and then lunch the next day. It's just good. It's really good with some people in town. We didn't feel like cooking, and it's close by. They do a great job. It's a wonderful spot.
And the sister property where I do trivia, the Beacon Listening Room, I'm there every Wednesday night. Had a fun time last night. It was a good crowd. Everybody behaved themselves except for Blake. He was a little out of control.
Yeah, what the hell, Blake?
Yeah, he's kind of a little bit of a rebel. But it's the best music on the island.
Yeah, and I would strongly encourage people, go out there, get a drink, sit at the bar. It's a wonderful spot.
Talking about sitting at the bar. 3 bars to choose from.
3 bars to choose
from. Under one roof.
Under one roof. Yeah. It's Meehan's Irish Pub. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a mainstay now in St. Augustine. I love Reggie Maggs. He's one of the nicest people in town. The quality of the food, the quality of the service, the quality of the drinks, every aspect of this bar is top notch. Yeah. Every aspect of it.
Yeah, and it feels like home. When I'm in there, it feels like home. I appreciate the bartenders that like call you by name, and they're just, they're my go-to bar.
They're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And they make it seem so easy.
And the food is so good.
Oh, yeah.
So the food,
the burgers. Give me a Tommy Dolan.
Yeah.
Very much.
Well, I mean, have you had the Reuben spring rolls?
I have never had the Reuben spring rolls.
So good. So good. It's an appetizer. Next time you go to get an app, do you like a Reuben?
I love a Reuben, but I had a very bad experience with a spring roll in Ireland as a younger man.
Oh.
Now, to be fair, spring rolls, middle of Ireland, probably shouldn't go together.
Yeah.
So it's like spring rolls is the food equivalent of Southern Comfort for me.
I'm pretty sure there's more stability with this one.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with that. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. They have over 800 original artifacts. Just quality experience here in St. Augustine.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the best tourist attractions in town.
I do too.
And definitely the most underrated tourist attraction in town, and best value tourist attraction in town.
It's a fantastic place. I say it all the time. I take my kids there. We've been there 3 times this year. We go back because it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. Yeah. So again, holiday season, give the gift of gift cards and send families down to the Pirate Museum. Yeah. It's brilliant.
Yeah, you got people coming. You got people coming in town. They're coming in for the lights. They usually stay a day. You're looking for something to do for the day.
Right downtown.
Right there. And then it kind of bleeds in. If you want to grab lunch at Meehan's, you want to do a little tasting at City Gates. I mean, it's all right there.
It's all within a couple of hundred yards.
Yeah, so
it's perfect.
All right. We usually start off with word origins, but I got to talk about whiskey of the week. Our whiskey of the week is Maker's Mark 46. Smooth whiskey.
Yeah, they make good whiskey, don't they?
Yeah.
Why 46?
I did not look it up. I believe it's the barrel number. So I'm not sure, but I'm going to say it with confidence.
It's the barrel number.
Yeah, that's what we're going.
Old number 46.
Yeah, somebody in the comments hopefully will tell us what that is, and they'll look it up. While Blake can actually do that too.
There you go.
He's awake today. Last week he was a little
I know
narcoleptic.
what he was doing last week. Yeah.
Blake, you are awake, right?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So what do you got for word origins this week?
My first word origin this week is Murphy bed.
Murphy bed.
Murphy bed. We all know what a Murphy bed is, right?
Yeah.
And they're pretty high class these days.
Oh, they're fancy.
They're not just, pull them out of the wall. So I looked.
They're not just for small apartments in Brooklyn.
They're not.
Okay.
So it's kind of a great story. It goes back to San Francisco in 1900.
Okay.
And a man by the name of William Lawrence Murphy.
Didn't see that coming.
No. And William Lawrence Murphy was falling in love, or certainly lusting after, a young opera singer. And courting customs at that time would not permit a lady to enter a gentleman's bedroom. And young Mr. Murphy lived in a 1-room apartment. So, necessity
had to come up with a strategy.
Right, necessity being the mother of invention. His invention of the Murphy bed allowed him to stow his bed in a closet, thereby transforming his 1-room apartment from a bedroom into a parlor. Thence he could entertain the ladies. Wow. Yeah.
That's the whole reason.
That's the whole reason.
It wasn't necessarily to just save space.
Nope.
He wanted her to come to his place.
Yeah. Without scandal.
Yeah.
Without scandal. And he went on from there. He formed the Murphy Bed Company in 1908. But he never trademarked the name. And years and years later, some descendants decided to try and trademark it, but at that stage, the Supreme Court ruled that it was a ubiquitous name, and you couldn't at this stage.
Because it was if it's more than 7 years, and you couldn't really do that.
Yeah.
So, wow.
Murphy bed.
That's cool. That's just because he liked a opera singer.
An opera singer.
Yeah. So
there you go.
All right. So mine is an Irish word that you just found out about.
Just found
kibosh. So when you put the kibosh on something, that means you're stopping it. You're killing it right then.
You're killing it.
I'm putting the kibosh on these word origins. All right. So kibosh actually means the cap of death.
The cap of death. So in my defense, I have seen kibosh spelled Kibosh.
Okay.
Kibosh. In Irish or in Gaelic, it's the cap of death. It's CHAIDG, Kai, and death, BHAIS, Bosh.
Yeah.
Or boss, and I mean death. So I had no idea that it was an Irish phrase.
So
no idea.
And you understand the Gaelic side, and that's how it got to there.
And the Gaelic side.
But you never connected the
two. Kibosh. But now when I say it out loud, I'm like, well, no wonder it's spelled Kibosh.
Yeah, it just makes sense. Because we're Americans, we gotta simplify stuff.
Yeah. So how did it come into the lexicon? How did it come into the?
Well, it just kind of blended in, and it came in to the U.S. through the immigration side of it.
All right.
So as when it came over, it was a word that was used quite a bit from the Gaelic side, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, have you used it from the Gaelic side?
Well, I've said put the kibosh on something, but I never knew.
You never realized it was even Irish at all.
No.
So, but it came over at that time, like late 1800s, early 1900s.
Wow.
So.
Mad cool.
Yeah.
Mad cool.
So what?
So I was staying with the furniture.
When was the mass exodus of Ireland? It was like
the famine.
The potato famine. So it had been earlier.
There was a huge exodus in the late 1840s.
Yeah.
1840s, probably mid 1860s. You're looking at probably 2 million Irish coming here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's probably about when it was. And
yeah.
So
wow. Okay, so I stayed with furniture.
No,
I stayed with furniture.
You had Murphy bed. Great story.
Yeah. So everybody has one of these in their living room. Mm-hmm. Some people call them the couch. Some people call it a sofa.
Yeah.
And so I decided, let's figure out what this comes from. So the couch comes from a French word, coucher.
Coucher.
Coucher. Coucher. Mm-hmm. And it just means to lie down.
That's all it means.
That's all it means. To lie down.
Yeah, I definitely do a lot of lying on my couch.
Yeah. Blake controls the couch in the house.
Yeah.
Like if there was a couch potato, he would be the man.
Well,
but he spends a lot of time. We have a really cool porch.
Okay.
Like right downtown, we got a really cool, and he spends a lot of time on the swing out front.
Yeah.
Because we have a porch swing that you can lay down on too.
No, it's pretty good. As long as you can lie down.
Oh, it's being in the pronated position.
Yeah.
It's what's important to Blake. So,
and then I looked up sofa. And sofa is an Arabic word coming from, it's S-O-F-F-A, sofa. Mm-hmm. And it refers to a raised part of the floor that you would then put pillows and cushions down on.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was actually, it wasn't a piece of furniture. It was actually it was part of the room.
Part of the room, but that's where you put cushions and pillows, and then you lay down there.
Okay. Yeah. What do you call it? Do you call it a couch or a sofa?
We went with couch.
Yeah. I call it a couch. So I don't think Blake, have we ever called it a sofa?
No, but we always call it a couch, or as the dogs call it, the licking zone.
Yeah, because we eat in our living room a lot.
All right.
So crumbs will hit the couch, and then the dogs decide they will use it to lick the entire couch. So
I wasn't. So we lived in a very strange house. We had furniture in our living room, but my mother wouldn't let us sit on the couch or lie on the couch. She was the only one who could be on the couch. So I became incredibly comfortable at just sitting or lying on the floor. And even today, and my wife has tried several different types of couch or furniture or anything that would attract a normal human being. Yeah. And no, I'm still comfortable on the floor. Yeah. Scarred by my childhood.
No. I think you're more of a floor person no matter what happened in your previous life. We're not going to put this on your mom.
Yeah. So basically, looked up like what's the difference between like couch and sofa. So apparently we're supposed to be using sofa when it was basically like a bench with arms on it.
So it's more of a bench with arms.
Yeah. Okay. Then the couches where it has no arms on it. So
okay. So it's more level.
Yep.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay. Right. Well, thank you for that.
Might be using the wrong term. So, because all couches really have, I guess it's the height of the arms. I don't know. All right. My next word is jumbo.
Jumbo. Okay.
So jumbo, kind of everybody knows it's big.
Yeah.
It's bigger than, I want a jumbo fry. I want, jumbo shrimp.
Jumbo jet.
Jumbo jet. Yeah. It's always bigger.
Yeah.
But I wanted to find out, how did we get to, why is it not just big?
Right.
All right. And what it is actually, it's an African word. And I couldn't get the origin. It basically said it was a Eastern African word for an elephant. So, we think of Dumbo, we think of Jumbo, we think of elephants also.
Right.
But I didn't realize that was the true origin of it. And, and it came directly from tribes out of Africa, and that's what they called elephants when
Jumbo.
They captured the elephants and put them in circuses and on display and stuff like that. A lot of times they called the elephant Jumbo instead of saying it was an elephant.
Right.
And, elephants are big, and that's how it became.
Oh, I like
big.
that. That's excellent. So it just means a word for elephant.
And I just wanted to see what did Jumbo, because we have this Jumbo shrimp.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's see what it actually came from, and that's where it actually came from.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. So actually, the most famous use of Jumbo was Jumbo the circus elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the elephant was born in 1860 and died in 1885, and was actually part of P.T. Barnum's circus.
It was Barnum Circus. Yeah.
Barnum, baby.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Sucker-born
and
everything.
he was, sucker-born area, exactly. That's what I called our previous president, was P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, and actually, fun fact, there actually is a jumbo statue in Ontario, Canada.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Of an elephant?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of Jumbo the elephant, the actual...
Jumbo. So
bee.
it might have actually originated in the U.S. from that one elephant.
Probably.
So that's pretty cool. All right, which way you want to go? You want to go with riders or you want to go with awful cars?
I don't care. I mean, riders is fairly proper, and cars, fuck me, that's awesome.
Yeah. So let's go with cars. Let's
go with cars.
Let's start with fuck me. All right, I want to take it really personal. Like,
Okay.
What's the worst car you've actually owned? Like you actually have owned?
The worst car that I owned was...
And is it on the list?
It's not on the list. The worst car that I owned was a DAF 44.
Okay, I don't know
It
what
was
that
a
is.
purple DAF 44. Two friends of mine and myself, we got this car from a guy who owned an Italian chip shop in my hometown.
Okay.
And he gave us this old car that had sat on his property. And the deal was we had to dig foundations for a shed that he was putting in.
Okay.
And so we did that, and he gave us the car. It didn't run. And it was an automatic car, and it was built in the Netherlands by men without imagination.
Okay.
And we...
Yeah, so you can look up here.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. And we had a purple version of that.
Yeah.
And we tried everything to get it going. And then one day somebody suggested, why don't you just hit the engine block with a sledge?
Yeah.
We were about 15 at the time.
To get it moving.
So we did that. We got it moving.
Got the pistons moving.
Drove it around my friend. My friend had a big property in the middle of the town. One of those absurd,
A lot of acres.
a lot of acres. We drove it around there. Had a great day. Joyriding at night. Great time. Couple of nights. And then I came down to the yard the following Saturday to
It's
meet
only a week
this friend of
later.
mine. A week later.
Okay.
Hammer Kelly is his name. Hammer Kelly. Still
Hammer.
like good mate of mine. Fucking lunatic now. And I go down there, and he'd taken a hacksaw, and he'd cut the roof off. He'd made it
Convertible.
He made it a convertible, which was brilliant. Up until me and the other guy were like, "It's Ireland," and he went, "What?"
It rains.
And it just started
A lot.
to rain,
It rains a lot.
and that was it. Like he hadn't thought beyond getting the roof off the thing.
Because it wasn't going to be covered up.
No.
No.
So it's still sitting at the end of his parents' property in the middle of the town.
Is that car still there?
It's still there, yeah.
No, come on, man. Is it really?
Yep, it's been
That's
there
hilarious.
for 40-something, probably
All right,
40 years now.
Just
yeah.
because of that, I need your friend. Who do you have in that town?
Oh, it's still, the Hammer's there, a bunch of people.
Oh, I need have them take a picture beside that car.
I'll get a
I want a
picture.
picture of that beside the car.
I'll get a
If we can
picture.
That'd be amazing. All right, the worst car I ever owned, and I took a job in 1994. I took a job down in Orlando. I was offered a lot of money. I was already living here in St. Augustine, and it was like good money, really good money. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna make it in Orlando.
Yeah.
I got down there instantly. Like a week later, I hated it. But in the meantime, I'd already bought my house here. I was like 23 when I bought my house. So I bought my house here, and I hadn't found a place down there yet. So I was like, okay, I need to find a car that's really good gas mileage.
Okay.
My genius mind turned in a car that was not a great car, but it turned in a car that was much better than the one I traded in for. I traded in. I didn't have to pay. I didn't have to exchange money. I got a Geo Metro. Okay, do you ever see a Geo Metro?
Yeah.
All right, it's a 3-cylinder car.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't think through what a semi does to a Geo Metro riding down the highway. Here's how bad this car was. It had air conditioning,
Okay.
but to merge into the highway, I had to turn my air conditioner on to get up to speed.
Oh, shit,
To
yeah.
be at minimum speed, and then I could turn. There it is, and it's the same color. It's the same color. Like
You're traumatizing your father.
it was the worst car, and I've had I talk a lot on the morning show about having POSs because I didn't own my first new car until 2 cars ago. Like the Hummer I had.
Yeah. I was 40 when I first bought
Yeah.
a new car.
Yeah, I was about that same age. Blake was well into elementary school when I bought the Hummer. But no, but that's hilarious that's that car. So it was. I mean, that literally was a flashback when it popped up on the screen.
Yeah, but did you ever know that there was a convertible version of the Geo?
But that's even worse.
It's just a terrible car.
That means more people can see you in it. That's even worse.
Car.
So my first car was a convertible, also similar to yours, but it was an MGB. Whoa. Really sporty looking car, but the worst electric system in the entire world.
No,
You arguing with it?
I'm going to argue with worst electric system. I have several cars.
Okay.
That can top that.
Okay.
All right. I want to address my favorite worst car of all time.
Okay. Favorite worst car.
Favorite worst car of all time is the Yugo. The Yugo. If you have never ridden in a Yugo, consider yourself blessed.
I did once.
Oh, fuck me. It was built in communist Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Right? Which, communist Yugoslavia, which is now, Croatia, Bosnia, Herzegovina.
They only made it like 2 years, right? 85, 86.
Dreadful.
So.
This car was an eyesore, right? The design was an eyesore. It was a retina-scorching atrocity of a vehicle. He had it up there a second ago.
Okay.
We used to make jokes in Ireland. What's the difference between a Yugo and a golf ball? Mm-hmm. You can drive a golf ball farther.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it couldn't go from point A to point B. Mm-mm. And if it couldn't get back. The interior it was all cheap plastic and the bits stuck out anywhere. And the engine was, again, like it was a 1.1 litre engine.
Yeah.
And it felt like an hour to get up to 60 miles an hour. And then it shook.
Yeah.
Like nothing worked in it. It looked like everything was just, somebody had a glue gun and they stuck.
Look at that high quality interior. They had, and I think the funniest thing about Yugo that I read is they had carpet as an accessory.
It was described, there's a book out called Crap Cars. This was described as the Mona Lisa.
I saw that one. I didn't see that. I saw that. It was in my research where they called it that.
Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear said that it felt like it had been assembled by human beings at gunpoint.
And I can tell you this, the only time I ever rode in a Yugo, all right, and I rode in a Yugo, and it was, I think I was a freshman in college. Because it was definitely down at Seminole Community. And all we needed to do was get to the apartment like a mile and a half away.
Yeah.
And we were going to walk. Because it was after baseball and I didn't have my car. I'd rode with somebody else and I stayed after to kind of do some other workout. And the one guy on the team from Tavares, I don't know if you know where Tavares is. It's in Lake County. So he was on the team. There was 4 of us in this car.
In a Yugo?
Yeah, 4 college baseball players in a Yugo.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we cleared 20 miles an hour.
No, you couldn't have.
No.
It
was only a mile and a half, and I swear I think I could have got there quicker if I'd have walked.
It was less reliable. The Yugo was less reliable than Donald Trump's financial disclosures. Do you know what it was? When they had it on Top Gear, Jeremy Clarkson said...
And his disclosures weighed more.
Yeah. Clarkson said it was the most hateful car he'd ever ridden in, and then he blew it up with a tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you see that episode, Blake?
I think I have, but I'm not sure.
Blake's seen like every possible episode of that.
Yeah, but
oh, what a shit car! What a shit car!
And I stayed kind of personal in some of the shit cars that I've been involved in.
Okay.
All right. This next one is my buddy Chris had one of these, and we actually he was a hand-me-down from a hand-me-down to a hand-me-down, so it wasn't even a new one. It was it was an old one.
Right.
AMC Gremlin. Did you ever?
I've never ridden one.
Oh. First off, they're hideous.
Okay.
Second off,
which color was it?
It was a white Gremlin. It was a white Gremlin. It probably would have been mid-70s.
I've seen them, and they're really
because this would have been in like 1983 because we would have been like sophomores in high school, and we weren't allowed to drive this car yet because he officially didn't have his license.
Yeah.
But me, Darren, and Chris would take this car out, push it away from the house, because it was too loud to start. You totally would get caught. Push it away from the house, and we just destroyed. We hit mailboxes with this. We used it as a battering ram more than anything else. You know, thank goodness there weren't cameras on our phones.
Oh, yeah.
In 1983.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, the Gremlin, it literally was a tin can. And I don't remember. That looks like it, too.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it always had the one stripe on it. And coming along later, a little bit bigger, was the Pacer.
Oh, and similar to those, yeah.
The Pacer was from Wayne's World.
Yeah.
But the Pacer felt like more of a driving around in a fishbowl.
In a fishbowl.
Do you remember? Did they have Pacers in Ireland?
We didn't get Pacers in Ireland, no. But
Did you have Gremlins in Ireland?
No, I know. I've never ridden one. I saw a Gremlin, never rode one.
So AMC, and one of the things Iacocca did is he bought AMC for the Jeep.
Okay, and then he kept the
Jeep, got rid of everything else.
Yeah, well, for sure.
So, Blake, can you pull up an AMC? I think they called it the Thing. All right. Did you ever heard of the Thing?
I've heard of it, but I have no idea what the hell it is.
Right, it was kind of like a Hitler military like vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, you're really selling it to me right now.
No. I mean,
Okay.
this is we're talking high quality stuff right here.
Do you mean the VW thing?
Yeah, the VW thing. Yeah, it was a VW thing.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, it wasn't AMC. It was VW
Okay.
thing. I'm sorry.
That's what I thought.
I said Hitler, so he should have went to VW. My bad.
Should have known.
It was association.
Volkswagen.
Yeah. So this thing was just awful also. But I always, growing up, wanted one of these.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like right there.
There was when I first came to St. Augustine, somebody had one of these. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it was convertible. It had this.
I can tell you right now, as a kid, this is a car I want, and it was a piece of crap too. But that's a car I still want to this day. I might own a Thing at some point.
At some point.
Yeah, just to ride in the parade.
So on the list of really incredibly bad cars,
Yeah.
the Ford Pinto.
Oh yeah, that's got to be on everyone's list.
So they made these for 9 years, 1971 to 1980. Mm-hmm. It really wasn't that bad of a car, except for one small design flaw.
Yeah, if you got hit from behind, you die.
Yes,
It became a pipe bomb.
it burst into flames if you were rear-ended.
Yes.
And of course, it turns out that Ford knew that the car had explosive tendencies. They discovered it during crash tests, but they ignored it and they produced the car
Because it was
anyway.
still cheap to do.
It was cheap to
And it
do.
goes back to Lee Iacocca again. Why is his name going to come up so much?
Yeah, it burst into flames if you were rear-ended.
But I have friends that had those.
It's not a bad-looking car.
And it sold so well that I think GMC or Chevy came out with like the Maverick or something like that.
Yeah, that kind of looked like it.
Yeah, they kind of tried to get off the popularity of the Pinto.
Yeah.
So I think it's when Ford was in its horse phase. It had the Mustang,
Mustang,
it had
the
a
Pintos.
successful one, they went to the Pinto.
Crazy. All right, what other one you got?
All right, here's something that I saw in a skit that I absolutely, and this is the only show we can do this on, and I'm apologizing to our sponsors right now, but because Ford's one of our morning sponsors. But if you take, I don't even know if I can do it. I said I was going to do it. I didn't even tell Blake what I was going to do. But if you take and put the word anal in front of all Ford products,
Yeah.
see how it works out for you.
In front of all Ford products.
Like right now, think of some cars that are made by Ford.
The Ford
Anal Pinto.
The Ford Anal Escape.
No, the current ones right
Current
now.
ones. Anal Explorer.
Anal Excursion.
Anal Excursion.
The Ford Anal Escape.
Anal Escape.
Anal Escort. Okay.
You get it?
The Ford Anal GT.
I don't think it works on that one. But all the E's.
Wow. That's brilliant. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
I wasn't going to do it. But if you think about it, it's...
And we just lost to Jeffrey Burger.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. No, but
There you go.
So I can't remember even where I saw that, but it fits in a lot of those. But the Pinto was a driving bomb.
Driving bomb.
So
So, Blake and I were talking about this car when we walked in. The Reliant Robin.
Okay, and I don't know what this car looks like. Blake's more of a car guy than I am.
It was known as the Plastic Pig.
The Plastic Pig.
It was built in England.
Okay, already electric system sucks.
It is voted the worst car ever built in England. What were they
already are bad at building cars.
Hold on 1 second. It was a 3-wheeled car. The car had 3 wheels. It was a fucking abomination. It drives. You know the way you've seen 3-legged dogs run?
Yes.
Imagine an arthritic 3-legged dog running.
Right. When
That's
someone's driving
how
it, do you
the
go,
Robin
"Aw."
No.
Because if you see a 3-legged dog running, you go, "Aw."
No, it was super light. It was fiberglass construction. It was an incredible 70 miles per gallon.
You can find a picture, Blake?
No, there's a video, but I want to show quickly.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Show us this video. How bad is this car? Oh, that's Jeremy. Oh, my gosh.
That's how bad the car is.
Oh, my gosh. All right, we can stop that video because I don't know how much rights we have on that. But
So here's the thing. You could get 70 miles per the gallon. You could get it up to 85 miles an hour. The only problem was, if you went over 30 miles an hour, you had to stay in a straight line. Because the moment you tried to turn it,
it flipped like that.
you flipped. You rolled the fucking thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing that at 70?
And the other
Like
problem,
someone cut you off?
But you know what the other problem was? The steering wheel had a habit of popping off while you were in motion. Chuck, you're driving along in this 3-wheel thing.
Okay, this
And all
one
of a
might
sudden-
win. This one might win because you couldn't really get going fast enough to really hurt yourself. But this car sounds like it would absolutely kill you.
It would kill you. Yeah, can you imagine driving like you got the steering wheel?
Yeah.
Like,
Here, hold this.
yeah. Dreadful car. Dreadful car. Wow. The Reliant Robin.
Did you ever ride in one of those?
Yeah.
Really?
We did, yeah. There was a sitcom in England called Only Fools and Horses. It was an incredible sitcom.
Okay.
And the lads drove around in a Reliant Robin. And so they were weirdly, bizarrely popular. Because they were, so bad. You know, they were like so uncool. They were
And it had to
cool.
be cheap.
Oh, they're cheap as chips, yeah? Yeah.
It had to be cheap.
Terrible car.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I actually got one car here before we go to an ad break. So I actually been in this car as before, but it's a good car performance wise, but looks wise, you may want to question the spirit of a man. The Hummer H2 SUT.
He's out of the will.
He's out of the way.
That is my exact car.
Yeah.
That's
I
pretty-
knew what was coming.
I had the SUT, and I had it for 13 years.
Yeah.
All right. I had over 200,000 miles on that car. It was a good vehicle. I mean, and it rode good on the highway. And I can tell you right now, I saw this in a Super Bowl. Another one, like I said, I was going to get the thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Once something gets stuck in my head, I was like, okay, I'm getting that.
You're getting it.
And I've loved Jeeps ever since I was a kid too. So I've had a Jeep for a long, long time. But when I saw the Super Bowl commercial of this Hummer, I was like, good enough for Arnold.
Hey, I'll tell you something else you can put the word anal. I know something else you can put the word anal in front of.
Yeah. But it goes beside it in the garage.
There you go. Well, before we take an ad break, can we talk about another car we both had?
Yeah.
The DeLorean. What do you got on the DeLorean?
All right, so the DeLorean was underpowered, overweight, brake system sucked.
Stop.
There's no way the DeLorean was getting up to 88 miles an hour in that quick a time. So the
flux capacitor be
the
down.
whole theory of Back to the Future was bogus.
Right. Cool looking car.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you this. I'm old enough to remember them doing the thing on 60 Minutes or whatever about it. I remember watching that going, wow, that's a really cool car.
Yeah.
And John DeLorean's talking and he was lying through his ass.
Lying through his ass.
Oh, like Steve McQueen's ordered 2.
Yeah.
And, Paul Newman has one. There's no way a car guy like Paul Newman and Steve McQueen would drive this car.
May I ask you a question? Where was it built?
I was assuming Michigan with DeLorean.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is my favorite part of the DeLorean story. The
I know
DeLorean
it had a Renault engine in it.
It did.
Yeah.
A shit Renault engine.
Yeah.
It was built. They were only built between 1981 and 1983.
Uh-huh.
He built it in the town of Dunmurry, which was outside of Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Wow.
Couple of small problems here. One, you had an absolutely inexperienced workforce, so they couldn't build it. Never mind the fact that it was badly designed and overpriced and all the other things like that. But worse again, he put the factory in Belfast in 1981 at the height of the hunger strike in Northern Ireland, at the height of the Troubles in Northern Ireland. 1981 was probably the most violent year in the history of Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
And this is when he
That's
decided to
probably good.
load.
I mean, that's the one thing the DeLorean might be good for, because it was stainless steel. A car bomb would have been a problem.
There you go. So they couldn't get workers into the factory because everybody was dying on hunger strike. Mm-hmm. They're blocking the workers from coming in because of everything is getting blown up. Everybody's at fucking war. It was the most cosmically bad idea from beginning to end. And he lied through the teeth. He lied to investors. He lied to everybody.
I remember the special of when they were introducing it before the DeLorean actually came out. Like, oh, we have a list. We got a waiting list on this. And he's just lying his ass off. The other thing that was really bad is the air conditioning didn't work. And it didn't have windows that go down.
Right. And the air conditioning. So the Irish workers didn't understand.
In Florida?
The Irish workers didn't understand what air conditioning was because no car in Ireland had it. Because you didn't need it.
Yeah.
So they had no idea what the fuck they were trying to install.
Yeah. So they had no idea how to functionally make it work.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want to talk about this car because I've probably had more near-death experiences in this car than any other, because I was with a person that had one of these cars for like 2 years.
Okay.
And the Suzuki Samurai.
Oh.
Like... Pull up the Suzuki Samurai.
It's a piece of shit.
It is. It weighs about 8 ounces. All right,
It was a death trap.
It was a little 4-cylinder. Like if you hit an acorn, you were up on 2 wheels.
Yeah.
Well, so what color was your car?
I didn't know one, but my friend had a blue one,
Yeah, God.
a dark blue one, and I'm telling you right now, if there was a raindrop on the road, you'd make a turn and you'd do a 360 every single time.
God, they were a terrible car.
It was awful. It was awful. It was awful. Like every time. There you go. That's it. I mean, they're cool. They're cute.
Looks great.
They're cute.
Drives like, you know those old bass boats?
Oh, the rattle. Like I have a 65 Jeep that rattles and is loud. It's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But the rattle inside of that thing it would just be like... It would be like if I put a marble inside that tin can and shook it next to your head for like an hour.
It handled like a trawler, like a North Sea trawler that had been in the fishing industry for about 80 years.
Yeah.
Like it reacted that quick. It was a fucking terrible car.
But it had a motor that was strong enough, like it was a good beach vehicle.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you could bag the tires and get out of anything because it had enough motor to pull its 8 ounces out of everything. But it just, once the roads were wet, you're going to die.
You're going to die.
You're pretty much going to die. And how I'm still here today after talking about all these POSs that we dealt with, it's amazing.
So we got to take an ad break.
All right, we got to talk about our amazing sponsors. We're going to start with St. Augustine Pirate Museum. Cindy, that whole crew over there, they do an amazing job. They're going to help us out. We have a 904 0.5 race coming up. It's going to be pretty intense. It's going to be the laziest race you'll ever be.
A 904.5.
Okay,
explain this to me, sir.
The 904 now is sponsoring a 0.5. You know how you have like a 5K or something like that? No, ours is a 0.5.
Is that 0.5 of a mile or 0.5 of...
We're not... that takes work.
That does take work. So it just
takes work. You're asking too many damn questions.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So there's going to be several beer stops, and if you really don't want to run, we'll have a cart that'll take you. So...
This sounds like my event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No,
when is this happening, sir?
You're going to be there. You're going to be there. I believe it's February 12th. Blake, can you check on that real quick so I don't say the wrong date? But it's right downtown St. Augustine. But we're going to have the vendor space in the Colonial Quarter. Pirate Museum's right there. Gonna be just a
And
fun,
they're going to be one of the sponsors.
All right. Fun day.
All right, so the beer run is on February 25th, 2023.
February
25th.
There you go. Thank you, Blake.
I will be there. And thank you, Cindy, and everyone at the Pirate Museum.
But people do need to sign up because, I mean, all the proceeds are going to Jimmy Jam. So,
Wonderful.
But Cindy and them, they're helping us out with this event. And, we'll have a beer garden. And we'll have people are going to be able to hit me in the face with pies. So.
Can I sign up twice?
Yeah, I know Julie will be there for that.
Yeah, but definitely getting hit in the face with pies is definitely better than getting tased. So
Yeah, good point.
Yeah,
Good point. My mom said no to the tasing. All right, Meehan's Irish Pub.
Meehan's Irish Pub. I intend to spend a ridiculous amount of time at Meehan's Irish Pub over the holidays.
Oh,
I'm going to pub crawl. I'm going to start out back, get some pints from Hubble. Then I'm going upstairs to enjoy the view at Johnny's Oyster Bar. And then late night, belly up to the bar.
Yeah.
Downstairs.
With Caleb.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No,
Great bar.
And it's a great place. I mean, World Cup's coming up.
We got the big weekend of the World Cup this weekend. Big weekend, yeah.
Who you kind of leaning towards?
I think it'll be a Brazil-France final.
Okay.
And then
Brazil.
coin toss.
Brazil winning it?
I don't know.
Okay.
France is the best player in the world.
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe's 23. He's amazing.
Yeah.
On his day, he's unplayable.
yeah, so I'm actually going with a Argentina Portugal Ronaldo versus Messi.
No,
They're
Ronaldo,
both
get him out of here. He's insignificant.
Is Ronaldo even starting?
Preening has been.
Is Ronaldo even starting?
No, he's done.
Yeah. So and Messi's a role player now. So.
No, Messi still got it, but they're not
But
getting.
he's like 1 foot tall.
They might not get past the Dutch tomorrow morning.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Wow. Heard it here first. All right. Beacon Listening Room and Gypsy Cab. They got great TVs there if you want to go check out some sports
Yes,
there.
they do.
It's not just about the music, not just about the food. It's about the atmosphere. Go check them out.
It's a great bar. The Beacon's a great bar, and what Frank has done over at Gypsy Cab is amazing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
So, and when he walks in, he hands Blake the remote, so it makes us happy. So it works out for us. All right, Abare, Kresge and Associates, best accountants in town by far.
By far.
If you're worried about doing your accounting, if you're worried about doing your finances, starting a new business, go see these guys before you get started.
Yeah.
And they'll get you set up right.
They will save you money. They will save you time. They will save you stress. They're incredible.
Yeah.
900-degree pizza and pasta. Ladies and gentlemen, we had pizza for dinner from 900-degree pizza. It's incredibly good. The sauce is amazing. It's right on Lewis Speedway. When you're over at the high school, when you're going to high school events, when you're waiting in the traffic line thinking about picking up your freshman, go get the pizza because it's absolutely brilliant pizza.
Yeah, and the pasta's great. I mean, they really knock it out of the park with all that. All right, City Gates Distillery and St. Augustine Distillery. It's a unique twist to whiskeys. They have some really cool flavors to them. They got moonshine there.
They do have moonshine.
They got moonshine there. If you've never tried moonshine, try theirs.
Yeah,
because it gives you a different twist to
and
it.
I'll give it a shout out. They gave us some peanut butter whiskey.
Oh yeah.
I was blown away by how good the peanut butter whiskey was.
Yeah.
I was skeptical, and then I fell in love.
Yeah.
And the tours are incredible, but they make great liquor.
Yeah.
It's quality.
Yeah.
So Christmas is coming up. That's where you get your gifts. Spend your money right there.
Gift certificates there. I mean, just it's the way to go.
It is the way to go.
All right, let's talk about authors. Authors, writers. All right, so when you sent this one to me, I knew exactly who I was going to talk about.
All right.
Unfortunately, later in his life, he became a friend of mine, and to me, he's the guy. As soon as we said this is the guy I was going to focus on for mine, and that's Stetson Kennedy.
Stetson Kennedy, yeah.
Blake. You got a couple of different pictures of Stetson. We purchased Stetson's house that he built at Lake Baluthahatchee for St. Johns County as a park when I was Parks and Recreation Director. So it's there, cool. And they're doing some music at the park with Stetson. Look at me, I actually don't have white in my mustache there. That's Sandra and Stetson and myself. We did a Southern Exposure, which was one of the books that he wrote.
Yeah,
he's in the Florida Literary Hall of Fame, but he was most known. He's most known for the Klan unmasked.
Yeah.
So, but one of the shining moments, and I'm still going to brag on Stetson and where we're at. So when George McGovern lived here,
Yeah.
and Stetson was still with us, and George has passed since then too. I had the opportunity, those two, even though their paths have crossed several times during the 50s, 60s, they never met each other. So this is a picture of the breakfast where Stetson and George met each other.
Who's the third person there?
The guy with the dark hair there?
Yeah.
Yeah, with not that much gray. Yeah, that guy, he needs to grow a beard. So,
By God, sir, you were young once.
But it was.
So you put those two together.
Yeah, but it was one of the coolest moments because I'm sitting there at breakfast, sitting between these two guys. Now McGovern's the guy who started the free lunch program.
Free lunch program at schools.
You know,
yeah.
and he started that with Bob Dole. A lot of people don't realize that that's when like government kind of worked together.
Yeah.
But think how many lives he possibly saved during the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
When he started the free lunch program, and it's still around today.
Still going today.
Over 50 years later, a program that him and Bob Dole said, this is a good idea, and it's still around today.
Yeah, Democrat and Republican. They both served in the war, right?
I mean,
yeah, they're just good dudes.
You know, and I'm fortunate because I work with great people with Home Again, and we have Dining with Dignity.
Yeah.
Now we serve 70,000 people a year.
Yeah.
All right. Still amazing because of the churches that come out and do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But imagine how many millions and millions of meals
those guys
provided. All right, now we go back to Stetson, the writer. Well, George is a writer too, who lived here, so we could talk about George.
So the book, the great Stetson Kennedy book, is the Klan Unmasked.
That's the one he's most popular for, and
very few people, like I talk to people around here, they haven't read it. They don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
If you live around here and you haven't read the Klan Unmasked or Southern Exposure, do yourself a favor and get these books because it's an extraordinary story.
And the one that got him the most acclaim was actually Palmetto Country. But and I'm jumping around a lot, but the Klan Unmasked is the one that most people that was most controversial.
Yeah.
In 1946, Stetson infiltrated the KKK.
Yeah.
And what he was doing is he was getting secrets, and they had passwords, and they had different weekly passwords. So he had a tough time getting it published.
Yeah.
So this happened in 46. He finished it in 48. All right. He couldn't get it published in the U.S. No one would publish it.
Would touch it. Yeah, they wouldn't touch the book.
Would publish it in the U.S. He had to go to France to publish the Klan Unmasked. By the time after it opened in France, there was a small publishing company that did it here, and they changed the name to I Rode with the Klan. But Stetson, throughout his life, and I think Stetson and I met when he was about 86 or 87. I think he passed at 95.
Yeah.
So always brilliant and sharp. But he was still writing then. He wrote Grits and Grunts, at age 90.
Yeah.
So, just always as sharp as could be. But he always he had death threats to the day he died.
Yeah. They were trying to get him, they were still after him.
He had to live, when it did come out in the mid-50s, he had to move to France to live there for 6 years. Woody Guthrie, who was his best friend, and Woody and him became friends before he even wrote the Klan Unmasked. Woody Guthrie became friends with him. This land is your land. This land is my land. In case you guys don't know, that's Woody Guthrie. But Woody read Palmetto Country, took the cover off of it, wrote a letter to Stetson, mailed it to him, and said, "Hey, pick me up at the. I'll be there in 3 weeks. Pick me up at the train station in Jacksonville." And Stetson picked him up there. First time they met, all right? Stetson picked him up there. They became best friends. Stetson is Arlo Guthrie's godfather, or was Arlo Guthrie's godfather. So when we did Southern Exposure, we had a copy of the letter that Woody had wrote, but we didn't know where the original was. So we have Arlo there, Ramblin' Jack Elliott, and a handful of other people, and we're all standing in Stetson's. We're literally in Stetson's kitchen. We're doing me, Arlo Guthrie, Ramblin' Jack, and Stetson are doing shots. These old guys are drinking me under the table, and I can drink. All right, and we start talking about it, and Ramblin' Jack goes, "I brought that with me." Woody had given it to Arlo, the original, because Stetson had given it back to him when he showed up at Lake Beluthahachie. Woody had given it to Arlo, and then Woody had given it to Ramblin' Jack.
Okay.
Arlo didn't know anything about it, but Arlo read the letter, and it was like everyone was just like, "Oh my gosh!" I mean, because it was a decade of friendship of two great people.
That's fantastic.
So it was one of those. I'm very fortunate. I've got to do some really cool shit.
Yeah.
But that one really will always stay with me.
Hell yeah.
So.
Okay.
But the one thing he did that was really cool is Stetson couldn't get people to publish it. But what he did is he got with the before even the Clan Unmasked was published, Stetson was leaking information to the writers in New York of Superman. I think I talked about this.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
so what would happen is he was still involved in the Klan, like he was still there. So he was getting passwords on a daily basis from the Klan and feeding it to the radio show, the Superman radio show. And they did 10 episodes of Superman fighting the Klan.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Wow. So my first writer, Marjorie Keenan Rawlings.
Yes.
All right. Not a native of here.
Cross Creek.
Cross Creek. Grew up in Washington, D.C. And moved to Cross Creek, which is over near Hawthorne, in 1928.
Yeah.
And she absolutely loved rural Florida.
Yeah.
Hated cities.
Yep.
And just adored Cross Creek. And that's actually the name of her memoir, is Cross Creek. Most people know her for her Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Yearling.
The Yearling, yeah.
She won the Pulitzer Prize in 1939. She lived in Crescent Beach forever. She had a home in Crescent Beach for a ridiculously long time. Obviously, P.V. Rawlings Elementary School up in Ponte Vedra, named after Marjorie Keenan Rawlings. But I don't know if many people know this, but her and her husband, her second husband, lived in the Castle Warden Hotel.
Yes, they lived on the upper deck of the Castle Warden.
Right, which we know today as Ripley's Believe It or Not. That was her residence right there. And actually, one of the stories I love was somebody once came to the house and said, "Oh, I can see Marjorie's touch all over the building." And the husband said, "No. In the same way that you can't see my footprint in any of her books. The building is mine, the writing is hers."
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's a brilliant, brilliant line. Yeah, she died in 1953 here in St. Augustine. Donated all of her works and all of her papers to the University of Florida. I think there's a Rawlings Hall over there for that. But Cross Creek is
in case people are trying to connect it with Rawlings College, not the same.
Not the same at all.
Not the same. Hers is Rawling.
Yeah.
And also not connected to the baseball company.
Not connected to the baseball company either. Not even the slight. And Cross Creek is a state park.
Yes.
Right? Cross Creek is a state park.
Yeah, her house is another one that's a state park. The same as Stetson's is a county park.
Yeah.
So.
And it's beautiful. It's absolutely, again, worth the drive. Heading over to Hawthorne on the way to Gainesville. Well worth it. If you haven't been out there, do it. Cross Creek's beautiful.
All right. And I'm going to talk about somebody who, unfortunately, she died broke. And she was an amazing writer. And she had connections to both Marjorie and Stetson.
Her and Marjorie were good friends.
Yeah, she actually had to sneak in to the hotel because she was not allowed in it as a black woman.
That's right.
And her Marjorie would have tea on a regular basis, but she had to sneak in as she would either act like she was one of the servants there.
Yeah.
Or Marjorie would have to walk her through and act like she was one of the cooks.
Right, and we're talking about Zora Neale Hurston.
Zora Neale Hurston, possibly a better writer than the other two.
Oh, I think so, yeah.
You know, and her book, Their Eyes Were Watching God, is probably one of the best. The books that we talked about is phenomenal.
Oh, it's
phenomenal. But unfortunately for Zora, and the park that she's associated to St. Augustine, as you turn onto King Street coming from US 1, that little park that's right there. It used to be a car wash.
Yep. That's
Zora Neale Hurston. Now, how she was related to Stetson, it was during the WPA.
Okay.
So what it was Franklin Delano Roosevelt hired a lot of writers to do travel magazines to try and boost information and stuff like that. And Stetson hired her to do the writings with him.
Really?
Yeah.
Now she had there's a beautiful plaque down on King Street, and she taught at the college that was over there. What the hell?
Florida Memorial. Stetson and her both taught at Florida Memorial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but she to me is a very underrated writer. And
if you haven't read Their Eyes Are Watching God, you really, really need to read this book.
Yeah, and she had to lie about her age to get into some of these schools because she didn't graduate high school until she was in her mid-20s.
Holy Mother of God!
Yeah, and she had to change her date of her birth like by 10 years.
That's phenomenal.
So yeah, like a lot of times she was born on January 7th, 1891, and she changed it to January 7th, 1901.
Wow!
Just to try and get past everything else. So but she died broke cleaning houses.
Do you know that Alice Walker, who wrote The Color Purple?
Okay.
Alice Walker found her grave because she was buried basically in an unmarked grave.
Yeah.
And Alice Walker paid for a headstone and all that stuff years later.
Yeah.
So I want to finish up with just a quick one. Years ago, I ride my bike all over town, and one of my favorite places to go is over off West King, and back through the little streets over there. And I remember the first time I rode into Evergreen Cemetery.
Yes.
And it blew me away.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful. But one of the things I stumbled across in Evergreen Cemetery was the gravestone of Randolph Caldecott. And Randolph Caldecott was an English illustrator. And every year in the United States of America, there's an award called the Caldecott Medal.
Yes.
And it kind of goes hand in hand with the Newbery Award. And the Caldecott Medal is awarded to the artist of the best picture book for children. And some of the books that have won the Caldecott Medal are Where the Wild Things Are, Jumanji, The Polar Express won the Caldecott Medal. And so Ralph Caldecott, he was sick all of his life, and he used to spend winters in warm climates. And he came to St. Augustine in late January of 1886, and it was a brutally cold winter. And he died here, and they couldn't get him back because of embalming and all that. So he's buried here in St. Augustine for that reason. So he doesn't have a huge connection to this area,
but he's here.
But he's legendary illustrator, and the effect of the Caldecott Award on books, on children, it's a wonderful thing. They give out one Caldecott Award every year, and then 2 to 5 other books are honored. And it's a huge, huge award. And it's a beautiful, beautiful little part. And again, I will say this to everybody. If you've never been to the Evergreen Cemetery, it's beautiful.
It'll blow you away.
As cemeteries go, it's absolutely gorgeous.
All right. I want to go back to Stetson one more time because there was a big book that the Jim Crow Diaries. All right, so when we purchased Stetson's property, it was a living trust, so he was allowed to live there until he passed. And when he did pass, we kind of went in there and kind of went through some stuff. And I went through an old desk that he had stuck in a garage decades ago. I found all the cards, because Stetson, what he did is he told me this before, he wrote everything on index cards.
Okay.
I found all the old cards of how he put together the Jim Crow Diaries. They were soaked and they were stuck together, and we had to pull them apart and everything else. And it's now that's over at University of Florida. but it was literally stuck in a desk, like bottom drawer soaked, and we were able to. I think we salvaged about 80% of the cards that he had saved from this
Right,
book.
and they're just stuck in an old desk.
They were in an old desk, just sitting there.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Brilliant stuff.
All right, guess what? That's the end of our show.
That's the end of our show. Holy moly!
All right. And you guys, if you would, please hit that share button. We appreciate you guys. Go help our sponsors out. Christmas is coming. No better place than go start with our sponsors with those gift cards.
And get out and see the town. Get out and see the town. And Troy's right. See our sponsors. Hit the share button. We'll be with you again next week.
Yes. Hey, and send us suggestions of topics. We're always looking for fun stuff. So, all right. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents.
See you next week.